Hi guys, this is Tracy from Lavinia Stamps and welcome to another demonstration today. We have got our lovely two robins and we're going to be using these today. So we've got Bobby and we've got Jemima. So this is watercolour card. I've got my branch here. So first of all I'm going to stamp a couple of things down and then start working on the edge. So I've got Twilight here, Versafine, and I'm going to ink that up. I need to think a little bit about where I'm going to be positioning the robins, so just bear that in mind because we want them sat on the branch and we want to be able to fit them both in to the composition. So let's just pop that there. So this, making this card for me is a good reference really to go off. But if you're not sure, just take the robins and just have a little think really where you're going to position them. So we know that one robin's going to go here, so I'm going to pop the other branch sort of slightly over this side so we've got plenty of room to get them both in. Okay, I'm just popping a few more little branches just around the edge there. Okay, so next up we've got our mini holly leaf here, and I'm going to ink this up in Shady Lane and just start popping this in the spaces that we've got. Stamping off as well, just to give that illusion of depth. Okay, now we can add more as we go along, so let's just get the robins down now and then we've got an idea of what more foliage we can pop down. And this time I'm inking up in the nocturne. And we're going to pop him. Think about where his feet are, okay? So don't worry if you mess up on the feet, on where is positioned on the branch, because we can always hide that through some foliage or a little bit of colour using one of our pens. So don't worry too much. Don't give up too quick, that's the thing, work with it. Okay, so a little bit more that I've missed there. And now let's pop him just a little bit higher. There we go, fab. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my holly leaf now, and I'm going to go back to the Shady Lane, and I'm adding just one or two little bit more where the spaces are actually. Okay. So I think at this point I'm going to start creating a little bit of a background. So I've got the Midnight Blue and henna here. So let's start with the henna. Now using the big stencil brush, I'm going to go all the way around. So you can see that I'm going around the edge, but I'm keeping that focal point nice and light, so we're homing in on those lovely robins. I'm now using the Midnight Blue, and I'm taking a slightly smaller stencil brush. And now I'm going to add that little bit of depth around the edge. So the smaller one just gives me a little bit more control. So now I'm going to stamp the words. A verse here that I've got. You can use any verse you wish. And I want it to be quite light because, as you can see from this card here, I want the verse to be very much pushed into the background, and we can concentrate on the word Noel. So I'm going to stamp off that first impression and then just very lightly in the background. In fact, I don't need another one. And then we're going to take our Noel and I'm going back to the pine cone. I'm not stamping off, I'm going to pop that straight over the top so it stands out. There we go. Okay, so we know that embossing powder can stick to Versafine very easily, so I'm just going to dry that off as much as I can so that the snow doesn't stick to everything else. Okay, that's nice and dry now, and fingers crossed our embossing powder won't stick to the robins or the branches. Now I've got two quickie glue pens here, depends on how much snow you want really, but I am going to use the thicker one today. So, and think about where your snow is going to be placed. So I'm leaving the tail out there. And I'm just going along the edge. And just have a little think about where the snow would fall as it was coming down. So it wouldn't go along all the edges of the branch. Just think where it would sit as it would fall. I've got the white puff powder here, which creates a really nice sort of snow effect. So we're going to go over the top with that and then tap off. Let's pop that back in to the jar now. And if you feel that you need to tidy this up at all, then just grab a nice fine brush and just take any areas off that you feel the snow's gone onto and you don't want it there. So just use your brush just to tidy it up, I suppose. Now I want the branch to show a little, so I don't want to cover it completely with the snow, so I'm just tidying that up. I think embossing powder has a mind of its own, really. Let's take a little bit more off there. And this is where our super fine brushes come in really handy, because a bigger brush will just take the whole thing off if we're not careful. So they're great for just tidying up. Okay, so I'm happy with that now. We're going to heat the powder and create our snow. Okay, so happy with that. Now we're going to add a little bit of colour to the robins. So I am using an orange initially because I feel that the redness of the robin, the chest is actually quite, for me, I feel like it's quite more of an orangey colour than a red, but we all see colours quite differently, don't we? So anyway, that's given them a hint of colour, which is quite nice. Okay, so last few things now. We're going to pop the glitter down. We've got our, what have we got here? It's the cranberry, and we've also got the stardust. So the stardust I'm going to pop over the top of the snow, and that just gives it that little bit of a sparkle. Now you don't have to use this. I haven't on the other card. You could always use one of your pens, your glitter pens, but all I feel is that it just needed a little bit of glitter. And then for the berries, I'm using the cranberry. But again, you don't have to use that at all. You can just use an acrylic pen, you know, like a red or a pencil or whatever you like, just something red. And I just think that little bit of redness just pulls that whole card together. I'm going to pop some red dots about, even without the holly as well, just because I think it looks nice. And there we go. And there we have our lovely little Christmas card. And it's a little bit bigger than the other one, but it goes to show that you can do most sizes on this. You know, a 4-inch or 5-inch would work perfectly. And the colours are very slightly different, but you know, that's what happens when a card is handmade. There's never two the same. So thank you for joining me for today's demonstration. You take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.